Cook County prosecutors moved to dismiss charges against R. Kelly. Let's talk about the details. My name is Jamal Kersey. I'm the principal attorney at Kersey Law, a boutique criminal defense firm in San Diego, California. In this video, we're talking about Cook County State's Attorney Kim Foxx announcing yesterday that they planned on dismissing the case. They would no longer be prosecuting R. Kelly, and today they moved to dismiss the case against him. And so normally this is something that's good. This is something that you're going to be celebrating. Me as a defense attorney and my team, when we get to reach out to a client and say, hey, the prosecutor has agreed to dismiss the case, it definitely calls for a celebration. It's time to pop champagne and celebrate however you do. But in this situation, it may not necessarily be a good thing for R. Kelly, and we'll talk a little bit about why. But in terms of how this case got to where it is, back in February 2019, the Cook County prosecutors put this case in front of a grand jury, and ultimately he was charged with 10 counts. So 10 counts of aggravated criminal sexual abuse. And there were 4 victims alleged to have been involved in this situation. 3 of them. So 3 out of those 4 alleged victims were under the age of consent. And these alleged incidents had taken place between 1998 and 2010. So just yet more charges for R. Kelly, more charges involving sexual abuse. And, it just seems that they just keep piling on. There's still the case out of Minnesota that's still pending, but last year, he had the federal case out of New York, and those were for sex trafficking and racketeering. There was some controversy that surrounded this case because it was a sort of novel way to use a racketeering charge to prosecute what R. Kelly had done. And so he was actually sentenced after being convicted. He was sentenced to 30 years on that New York case. And then later last year in September, he had the federal case in Chicago. And so he was found guilty of 3 counts of coercing minors into sexual activity, and then 3 counts of producing sex tapes involving a minor. And so on that case, he hasn't yet been sentenced. He's facing sentencing in late February, and he's facing from 10 to 90 years in prison. So between the 30 on the New York case, 10 to 90 on the Chicago federal case, R. Kelly, it's possible that he will never see the outside of a prison ever in his life. Ms. Foxx from the Cook County State's Attorney's Office has basically indicated, hey, R. Kelly's probably going to spend the rest of his life in prison. So, there's no need to pile on at this point. So they're making the decision to focus their limited resources on other cases. You have to take into consideration that COVID really threw a huge monkey wrench into the criminal justice system between court staff, DAs, courtrooms shut down for a while, prosecutorial agencies shut down, limited staff, all these different type of things. A lot of agencies haven't yet even recovered from what happened during COVID. But the other practical reason is it really costs a lot of money to take a case to trial. And as you've seen, these cases aren't settling. R. Kelly is not reaching plea deals with the prosecutors. Each one of these cases, the New York case, the Chicago case, each one of these cases are going to trial, and it is really expensive to take a case to trial. Between the hours spent by prosecutors in preparing for trial and then actually being in the courtroom and trying the case, then you have the paralegals, you have investigators, you have support staff, you have the preparation of evidence. So when they're doing the videos and photographs and you see the blow up images and all that kind of stuff, it takes a long time to prepare that stuff, and it's very time consuming and costly. And so from Cook County's perspective, there just really isn't much to be gained at this point by moving forward with the case that would inevitably go to trial. But you have to remember that R. Kelly is in fact appealing the New York case, and I imagine once he's sentenced on the Chicago case, he's probably going to appeal that too. So it brings up an interesting issue because there's been no indication. I'm not sure if the Cook County prosecutors have conferred with or collaborated with the federal prosecutors in New York and Chicago to see how they feel about the likelihood of those cases being overturned, right? Because if there was some sort of solid chance that R. Kelly had on appeal and he might be able to get out on either that New York case or the Chicago case, then Cook County might not be so inclined to dismiss the case because, they still want justice to ultimately be served for their victims. But in a case where they feel like, hey, R. Kelly is not getting out anytime soon, he's going to spend the rest of his life in prison. Again, they feel comfortable that they can dismiss the case and there will still be justice for the victims. And if that's the case, then is it really a victory for R. Kelly that Cook County decided to dismiss the case? So, it might be an empty victory after all for R. Kelly. But, let me know your thoughts. Do you think R. Kelly is going to be successful on his appeal of the either Chicago case or the New York case? Do you think R. Kelly is ever going to get out of prison? Let me know in the comments below. That's it for now. So if you got something out of this video, please show me some love and hit the like button. Make sure you subscribe to the channel and turn on those notifications so you never miss a new video when it drops. As always, I want to thank you so much for watching, and until next time, peace.